Two men are discussing delays while construction work is underway on the top of a massive building. The boss, John, is clearly frustrated with the situation. A short while later, he is driving his car and listening to the news about an interstellar comet that will pass close to Earth. He approaches a suburban neighborhood and is hesitant to enter because his wife is on a treadmill. Inside, they have an awkward conversation about their child Nathan and his upcoming birthday party. When the son arrives, he is happy to see him. They walk to his room and discuss about a drawing he did of the approaching comet, which he named Clark. Later, when they are lying on the bed, it becomes clear that the child has diabetes. They also discuss about John's divorce from his mother. As we listen to the comet news, we can see that the cosmic body, which is composed of numerous ice fragments, is rapidly approaching Earth. That evening, he is observed returning to the house and reoccupying a guest room. While cleaning the grill for the next party, the father is listening to the news about the comet again in the morning. They are stating that bits of the comet would fall on Earth, but there is no need to be concerned. As they are shopping, John receives a presidential alert on his phone, and then an automated call. No one else in the store receives the same alert. He is informed that he, his wife, and their son have been selected for emergency shelter relocation. The identical alert is displayed on the home television, but Ally misses it. John rushes out of the store with his son, and on the way home, he spots military vehicles and planes heading in the opposite direction. When they get home, everyone is gathered for the celebration. John approaches Ally in the kitchen, asking if she received the same alert. She brushes it off, thinking it's a test, but he tells her about the military he saw on the way, suspicious of what's happening with the comet. A small earthquake occurs, and as John leaves the house to watch a flock of birds take off, a massive shockwave strikes him and is felt inside the house as well. When he returns, everyone is terrified, and the newsreader says the piece has affected a city in Florida with a shockwave that was felt for thousands of miles. People wonder if more comet parts would strike the planet as they watch an orbital shot of the comet destroying the city, and John receives another presidential alert. The city was entirely destroyed. The call plays on his phone and the television so that everyone can see what is said. No one else is receiving the same message, which says that John is only allowed to bring his family to the shelter. He receives a security code on his phone to board the aircraft. The others flee in terror. When the boy asks about his grandfather, John and Allison are packing, concerned about whether they will have enough insulin for him. While Ally is cooking, they are listening to the horrifying news. John goes to get Nathan, who reports that the sky is on fire. As they are leaving, they notice that none of their friends received the same call, and one of them informs the family that the news says a massive piece of the comet known as Planet Killer will hit Earth in 2 days. While driving, suddenly they come to a massive traffic jam on the highway, and John chooses to take a diversion. They are listening to the news on the radio, which states that there have been more impacts and that others are expected, which could wipe out entire cities or even trigger an extinction-level event. When they arrive at the military-guarded airbase, people are gathered around the doors, preventing them from entering. The family pushes through the crowd and is given wristbands for personal identification. Once inside, they are instructed to gather all of their belongings into one smaller bag. Suddenly, they realize that Nathan's insulin is gone, so John goes to get it from the car. Allie goes to tell the soldiers about her husband, but she brings up the boy's diabetes, which causes a problem. She is then taken to a superior officer, who informs her that a person with a chronic condition is not permitted to be on the aircraft. Allie tries to reason with her, but she rejects him. She and her son are then led off the base, and John returns and heads towards the planes, searching for them without realizing what is going on. When John boards an aircraft that is ready to take off, he tries to contact an ally, but one of the other passengers notices the insulin and informs him of the regulations pertaining to long-term conditions. John becomes terrified and requests to get off the jet. Suddenly, the base is penetrated and gunfire is directed at the military. John's plane leaks fuel, so he advises everyone to get off and flees. The plane then explodes, setting off a series of events as the chaos in front of the base continues. John learns that his family has been rejected. It takes him some time to return to the car, where he finds a message from Alice telling him that she is taking Nathan to her dad's house. John pursues the group on the road, where Alice checks the boy's blood sugar and they head to get insulin for him. Suddenly, a gang walks inside and starts shooting, killing everyone in their path. They manage to escape and get into a car with some people who will take them part of the way to her dad's. The couple that Alice is traveling with begins acting strangely very quickly. Eventually, they throw her out of the car, take away her wristband, and drive off with her son, leaving her stranded on the highway. John strikes into a discussion with one of the guys, Colin, who tells him that they are headed to Canada, where the driver knows someone that has a plane and can take people to the shelters. Apparently, the military has set up the shelters on Greenland. The man tells him to find his family and meet him in Canada so they can take one of the planes to another one of the people in the truck. Eyes John's wristband and demands that John gives it to him. But when he refuses, a huge fight unfolds. The fighting causes the truck to swirl and crash. Throwing the people from the back out, the fight continues regardless, and John ends up killing the guy. Colin dies in the crash. In the meantime, Ally gets another ride toward the base where the people that took Nathan are headed. He is still seen riding with them when they get to the airport base. At the first stop, as they are showing the wristbands, the boy tells the soldier that those people are not his parents.
They're not my parents!
And the soldier gets them escorted away, taking him inside. Later, Ally gets there too and tries to find him from one stop to another, from one medical unit to another. She finally finds him and she's informed that he's been given insulin. The nurse says she'll help Ally find a military transport to her father's city, and that she will stalk her with medicine for Nathan. John breaks into a house for some water and food. He checks the news immediately, only to see that the main impact is expected in just under 24 hours. He finds keys to the family's car and takes it, getting to Ally's dad fast. He finds him playing cards with his buddies, asking about his daughter. They decide to put their differences aside and work together to find her and Nathan. Meanwhile, the two of them arrive at a gas station and call the house. John and her father go to pick them up, and the family is finally back together. All of them get back to the house and see that the information John got about the shelters was true. John's father gives him a weapon as they leave, remaining behind to say goodbye. While driving together, John and Ally reconcile and resolve to stay together, as pieces of the comet start to fall all around them. When John drives away from the cluster of cars, the fragments are flying everywhere. They hear the radio alert warning that they are running out of time before the comet's main portion strikes Earth and wipes out more than 75% of all life as they look for the airport. They observe one jet taking off and another almost taking off while they are driving, so they decide to pursue the second one. John drives directly in front of the plane to bring it to a stop. They are successful in persuading the pilot, who is reluctant to accept them, because he is already at capacity. They continue traveling and cross into Canada later that evening. When John wakes up from his dream of better times, they are approaching Greenland. At first, the area appears to be unaffected by the comet, but a moment later, a fragment hits the water and causes a shockwave that hits the plane. The pilot tries to keep the plane in the air, but as they glide through the air and land smoothly, they hit a glacier, trapping the pilots. John is unable to assist them. He sees a military plane land a mile away, so he shows the people from the plane there. When they get there, a military truck brings them in and gets them to the shelter. As they do so, the planet killer hits, meaning the impact will reach them in a matter of minutes. Nine months later, the planet is destroyed, with all of the cities completely destroyed. A radio signal appears, searching for survivors, and tells the recipient that the dust has settled and there is no radiation. As the Earth is visible from space, radio signals communicate from all over the world. There are people still alive everywhere on the planet. The hatches of the shelter open and reveal that the family is still alive, facing the ruin of the planet as a symbol of hope. They see a bird flying outside and start coming out of the shelter. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more recaps.